Okay, WWE Money and the Bank. Let's talk about it. But before we do, I'm Rob, the Wrestling Old Head. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling, all the time. And we're talking about this past Saturday's PLE WWE Money in the Bank, the final PLE going into SummerSlam, the second biggest event in WWE. So let's talk about the opening match, the men's Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre comes away with the briefcase. It was kind of a foregone conclusion, especially when they opened up the event with this match, that Drew McIntyre was going to take the briefcase to add the sense of intensity and suspense going into the championship match between Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. So we already knew that going in. But what I was shocked about was the lack of interference. You had the Wyatt Six, you had the New Bloodline, you had Logan Paul, you had anybody from Logan Paul's entourage, you had CM Punk, you had AJ Lee, all disappeared. Not a sight, nowhere to be found, which I thought was interesting. Going into this, you thought this match was going to be filled with interference, and it was non-existent, which was actually really cool. I like that. I thought that was interesting. Drew McIntyre winning wasn't a doubt in my mind. I lied. It was a doubt in my mind. And if you go back and look at my predictions, it was a lot of doubt. I wasn't sure, but I did go with Drew McIntyre. I was tossing it up between Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso, but the right man won. I mean, look, a lot of people are going to be upset about it because the briefcase is already cashed in, but honestly, I thought that you got Tiff now with the championship, but we'll get into it later, or with the briefcase to get the championship. It happened. I mean, you had Damian Priest had the briefcase for like an entire year almost, Sometimes you gotta switch it up a little bit. That's just my thoughts on that. But Sami Zayn retained the Intercontinental Championship against Braun Breaker. I thought it was a good match. I understand a lot of people are going to be a little on the fence about whether or not Braun Breaker should have lost this Intercontinental title match. Sami Zayn is going to play a pivotal role in the Bloodline storyline, in my opinion, going forward. And keeping him with the Intercontinental Championship and giving the prestige to the Intercontinental Championship, I think, is huge. You got to understand that WWE isn't just throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks now. There is a concerted effort, a cerebral effort from the cerebral assassin, Triple H, to do things for a reason. And what you are witnessing is a laid out plan for Triple H. Now, what that plan is for Braun Breaker going forward remains to be seen. Whether or not they want to go the historical route and give Braun Breaker a huge rub at SummerSlam, very similar to the way Brock Lesnar had his rub going in against The Rock in SummerSlam 2001, remains to be seen. Or was that 2002? So that remains to be seen. But I don't believe that defined Braun Breaker down at all. I thought it was a great match, and Braun Breaker can now be more of a beast than ever. Hell, he can go out there and he can beat Sami Zayn within an inch of his life on Raw, and they can run the match back at SummerSlam or, something of that regard. I'm not upset at this at all. I think it was all right. It was fine, and it gives Braun Breaker a chance to be more unleashed than ever before. Trish Stratus then came out, and in typical WWE fashion, the way that they kind of it's like an amalgamation of award shows, Saturday Night Live, television shows, and movies. They bring Trish Stratus out, hometown country favorite from Canada, Trish Stratus, and she brings out John Cena. And then John Cena comes out to basically let everybody know that he's retiring and that his last match is going to be at WrestleMania 41, 2025. And who he wrestles, who his final opponent is, remains to be seen. Are they going to go the Young Lion or the guy that are they going to go the Braun Breaker route? Are they going to give Braun Breaker a win over John Cena to propel him further up the card? Or are they going to go with the legend? Are they going to go with Randy Orton? Are they going to go with Brock Lesnar? Are they going to go with Roman Reigns? Are they going to go with Cody Rhodes? These are all interesting ideas that I've heard tossed around for an opponent for John Cena. Whatever they do, though, it's going to be a historical moment. I believe they should go with Braun Breaker or someone like that. Do the Austin Theory route, because Austin Theory is still going to have a lot to talk about, he's still gonna have a bargaining chip there, a card saying that he was one of the guys that beat John Cena. He has that card, and they're working on making him a top babyface as well. So we'll see what happens with that. That is just my opinion, though. I think they should go with a young lion to give him that, but they've already done that, so maybe they go the legend route. Who knows? Damian Priest retains the WWE Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. Botch in the bank. This was Botch in the bank to me. He didn't have his shoulder. Damian Priest did not have his shoulder up. The referee did not count 3 because the entire card for SummerSlam would have had to have been changed. So they couldn't go with an on-the-fly decision to count to 3, and it was very similar to Queen and King of the Ring with Randall Keith Orton and Gunther, where the shoulder was up for Randall Keith Orton, but in Damian Priest, he didn't have a shoulder up at all. I thought he was out cold. Somebody missed their cue. Maybe on the count of 2 3/4, Drew McIntyre's music should have came out and he should have marched down to the ring or something to break up the pin. Something happened. I don't know if it was Eddie Orango, the referee, Damian Priest, the guy that was doing the music, Triple H. I don't know. Somebody screwed up and it ruined this match, in my opinion, because nobody is going to stop talking about it. It is going to be the talk of the match, and unfortunately, it kind of sullied the waters of a great run-in from CM Punk, a great beatdown from CM Punk, and the tie-in that I never saw coming. I never saw Seth Rollins being involved in Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's match at SummerSlam, making it a triple threat, or as I like to call it because I'm an ECW mark, a 3-way dance. 3 men in the same ring at the same time vying for a shot at the title or whatever. It makes so much sense to tie it in because what we were going to watch at WrestleMania 40 was CM Punk against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins got involved in the Rock and the Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline situation, and Drew McIntyre was his opponent. Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins, and then he got cashed in. There's so many tie-ins here. CM Punk doesn't like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins doesn't like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre doesn't like CM Punk. It works. It is perfect. There's history there. Yes, inject that triple threat match into my veins, not just because I'm going to SummerSlam, but I want to see it. I think it's a great start, and then you can still hold off on the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match for a later time. So smart, so well done. But as I said, that is not going to be what's talked about. What's going to be talked about is that Seth Rollins should have been your new heavyweight champion, and Eddie Orango is in the pocket of Drew McIntyre or something, because that was very weird. Very, very weird. In the women's Money and the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, Tiff, it is Tiff time. She wins the match. This was a lot of high-risk spots. These women are going to be hurting tomorrow night, or later tonight. These women put their lives on the line. There was another botchamania, a botch in the bank, botchamania going on with this match. A lot of miscues, mistimed opportunities here. Michael Cole, very hyperbolic about what was going on in this match being the best women's Money in the Bank match. I don't believe that at all. I do think the right woman won. Tiffany Stratton should be should hold the Money in the Bank briefcase going into SummerSlam with Nia Jax and Bayley. Nia Jax doing a deal with Tiffany Stratton. The story right there is that Tiffany and Nia Jax are going to be side-eyeing one another, and I think that's the best story. Although Chelsea Green should have won. I mean, she's been getting more reactions than ever before. She deserves it. It was in her home country. However, there isn't a lot of story there, and WWE is fully focused on story. Speaking of story, with Tiffany Stratton with the briefcase, she was backstage interrupting Trish Stratus, who was backstage. Now, if this was just some one-off backstage banter, I'm cool with it. But in my heart of hearts, I feel like they should be giving Tiffany Stratton a match against Trish Stratus at SummerSlam, not only because I'm just going, but also because I would like to see that match. At the base of this all, Tiffany Stratton can do so. I'm not trying to discredit Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark is a phenomenal athlete. I just don't believe that she has found her footing charismatically yet. And I think Tiff has it. and she also has the athleticism to pull off a match with Trish Stratus and to also get that rub from Trish Stratus. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is something that we should be looking at with Tiff Stratton, is by getting in the ring with someone like Trish Stratus to propel her higher up the card. That's my opinion. But I would like to see that, and I think that would be a great match, and I think that's something that they could do in a star-studded event like SummerSlam. So I look forward to seeing that if they do. If it's just a one-off backstage banter or promo or skit or whatever, that's fine too, but I'm reading way more into it for obvious reasons, and I would like to see them have some sort of a match going forward. And SummerSlam, I wouldn't be too mad at that at all. Jacob Fatu helps Solo Sikoa score the win in the six-man tag main event. And Jacob Fatu this was the exact lineup that I had predicted and hoped for, but I wasn't sure what Jacob Fatu's situation was going to be crossing the border legitimately, because I've heard of his record and whatnot. I was glad that he was able to come through into Canada. And Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa was the lineup that I had predicted, and it was the all-star lineup that was in this match. It was a great match. There was a couple of mistimed moves as well, a couple of botch in the bank. This was all botch in the bank. What was going on with this? But it was a serviceable match. It was great. Jacob Fatu did a freaking space-flying tiger drop. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What a move. What athleticism for someone like Jacob Fatu. He did lose a ton of weight as well, but even if you go back and watch the old videos, he was doing a space flying tiger drop even back when he was 60, 70 pounds heavier. That's word to your mother right there. He's legitimate. He is legitimate. And him helping Solo score the win. Solo, it just dawned on me that he kind of looks like early Samoa Joe. I don't know if that's done on purpose or not, but it was very interesting. Everything from the boxing trunks, it's interesting to me. But this obviously sets up Solo Sikoa against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, and potentially the return of Roman Reigns. This was all done to set up everything for SummerSlam going forward. I think Monday is going to put that into an entirely different gear. We are going to get more lead up, possibly something to do with RKO, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton against possibly Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. I don't know who's going to come in and fight Jacob Fatu, or if they're going to go Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, how they're going to go with that. But I look for that to be one of the matches that they add to SummerSlam, or for one of the programs going forward. Very, very exciting pay-per-view, or PLE. I thought it was well done. A lot of excitement going into SummerSlam. This did everything that it should do, which is carry things over going into the beginning of August for the second biggest PLE of the year, SummerSlam. And in the PLE era, with the Paul Levesque era, nothing happens without a reason. And so I believed everything that happened tonight was done for a reason, including Trish Stratus showing up backstage and having a confrontation with Tiffany Stratton. Jacob Fatu helping Solo Sikoa win. I believe that is going to play a factor in the Bloodline feuds going forward. Jacob Fatu is to Solo Sikoa as Solo Sikoa was to Roman Reigns. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. You guys, this was a great event. I'm forward to the lead up to SummerSlam. I'll be there. It's going to be an exciting event, and I look forward to all the build-up going forward. They've got about 4 weeks to give us the entire lineup, and looking at the way things are playing out, I'm going to do my prediction card for that coming up soon. But the way things are playing out, it's going to be one for the books. What did you guys think of Money in the Bank? Did it go as predicted? Did you see any surprises? What do you think of John Cena announcing his retirement? What do you think about the Money in the Bank briefcases? Was this botch in the bank? You guys let me know in the comments. Thumbs up on the way out. It's free. Thanks again, you guys, as always. Try and stay united, and I'll see you soon.